The Proud Family is a show that has so many issues. The reboot series Louder and Prouder is making attempts to right the wrongs of the original series, but I feel like the writers have not been doing a very good job with this. The episode I will be discussing today is titled The End of Innocence, or as many people refer to it, the Colorism episode. Before we get into the context of the episode, I think it's important to give a background on what colorism is and how it's harmful. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a darker skin tone, typically among the same ethnic or racial group. It's deeply rooted in systemic racism and societal beauty standards. When someone explicitly states a preference for only dating individuals with a specific skin tone, this can be considered colorist because it reflects a bias rooted in those harmful social constructs. I am not saying that having a preference is wrong. People naturally are attracted to certain traits. However, if those preferences are based solely on skin color, they perpetuate discriminatory ideas and devalue others. But don't just take it from me. To fully understand colorism, I encourage you to do your own research and reflect on how these biases manifest in society. That's all. Now, let's get into the Proud Family Louder and Prouder episode titled The End of Innocence and how it attempts to address colorism but ultimately misses the mark. This episode begins with Penny reminiscing about the princess party she and her friends used to throw. This nostalgic opening sets the stage for the tension and the conflict that unfolds later in the episode. At school, everyone is talking about Noah Barker, a famous TV star transferring to their school. Noah is introduced to the viewers, and everyone is excited about the possibility of being noticed by him. Penny and her friends make it clear that they are all interested in him and are hoping that he will ask them out. When Noah finally arrives at the school, the group begins to throw themselves at him, which I think is kind of weird, especially being that Penny and Dejanay are literally in relationships. However, Noah surprises everyone by singling out Zoey and asking her to the Valentine's Day dance. Zoey, along with everyone else, is skeptical, assuming it's a joke, but Noah reassures her that he genuinely likes her. Michael says it was unexpected for Noah to ask out Zoey, and the rest of the group nods in agreement.
That was just unexpected.
The issue begins here when Maya states that she heard from her cousin that Noah only dates white girls.
The way I hear, Noah's only into white girls. What?
I think it's important to mention at this point that this is just a rumor that Maya has heard and is now spreading. At this point, there is no hard evidence to prove that Noah only dates white women. Regardless, this comment plants a seed of doubt and jealousy amongst the group, leading to hurtful behavior towards Zoey. Penny's friends, including Dejanay, La Cienega, Michael, and Maya, begin excluding Zoey from their conversations. While on a group FaceTime, Dejanay brings up the situation, and the rest of the group begins to talk about how it's making them feel, and ultimately decides to uninvite Zoey from their annual princess party. Penny tries to defend Zoey and states that Noah might actually like her, not because she's white, but the rest of the group disagrees. Maya jumps in with more rumors that she heard from her cousin and says that Noah is only ever seen leaving the house with white girls. Penny interjects and says that it's not Zoey's fault and that they do not know if the rumors are true, but regardless, the rest of the group has still voted to uninvite Zoey from the party. At this point, Zoey enters the FaceTime call and everyone decides to leave, avoiding expressing their feelings to her and having a conversation. This part really makes me upset. Instead of talking to Zoey, they're choosing to ostracize her and talk about her behind her back, which is not fair. This brings us to one of the biggest issues with the episode. Instead of focusing on Noah, the person accused of being colorist, the narrative shifts the blame onto Zoey, which I really hate. Zoey, who has done nothing wrong, becomes the target. At the princess party, the girls have fun without Zoey, who they assume is not coming since they uninvited her. But to everyone's surprise, she shows up and is upset with the fact that her friends are trying to exclude her. Dejanay brings up the Noah situation again, and La Cienega enlightens Trudy on a rumor regarding Noah being colorist. Zoey jumps into the conversation, saying that it's not true, and Maya backs up the rest of the friends by stating that the rumors are true. This makes Zoey angry, resulting in her calling the girls jealous due to the fact that Noah is interested in her and not them. They all begin to argue until Penny calms everyone down and asks if they can all just talk.
Look, I understand how you guys feel, but can't we handle this like the classy, polite princesses we are and talk it out?
While talking, La Cienega makes a harsh comment when she sarcastically asks Zoey if any boy has ever asked her out before Noah.
Has any other boy ever asked you out to a dance?
This jab cuts deep, highlighting the group's willingness to undermine Zoey's confidence to validate their own insecurities. That comment really made me upset. It's as if La Cienega feels that Zoey isn't worthy of someone liking her. That's not something a true friend would say, and I feel terrible for Zoey. At this point, everyone begins to leave the party, leaving just Zoey and Penny together. It's crazy how Maya was the one who started all of this by bringing up the rumor, but she was also the one who said that she doesn't need all of the negativity in her life and leaves. How does that even work?
I don't need all this negativity in my life. I'm a dip.
Once everyone is gone, Zoey tells Penny that she's upset that she didn't say anything to defend her.
Look, Zoey, you didn't deserve all that. But you didn't say anything.
I want to point out that Penny did defend Zoey. As stated earlier in the video, during the FaceTime call with the rest of the group where they're talking about Zoey, Penny tries to defend her by saying that none of this is her fault. But Zoey wasn't on the call at that time, so she wasn't there to witness Penny defend her. Therefore, her feelings are valid with feeling like Penny is not defending her in this situation. There were many times where Penny could have stepped up to defend Zoey while she was around, but she did not. And although she defended her on FaceTime, there's a difference between defending someone when they're around and defending someone when they're not around, especially when they already feel ostracized by the entire friend group over something that's not their fault. This episode had the potential to offer a nuanced exploration of colorism. Instead, the writers fumble by focusing on Zoey's friends' internalized biases and jealousy rather than holding Noah accountable for his alleged colorist preference. The group never confronts Noah directly. Instead, they ostracize Zoey based on unconfirmed rumors, which are only validated later when Noah admits his bias. Noah admits off-screen that he only dates white girls, and she breaks things off with him and apologizes to her friends. This is so annoying to me because I don't believe that Zoey has to apologize, being that she didn't do anything wrong. She literally did not know if the rumors were true. Nobody knew up until this point, so how is she being held responsible for his colorist behavior? Even after Noah's bias is revealed, the episode fails to unpack why colorism is harmful or how it perpetuates discrimination. Instead, Zoey is left to clean up the mess, breaking up with Noah, apologizing to her friends, and trying to make amends for something that wasn't her fault. Zoey's experience in this episode reflects deeper issues with toxic friendship dynamics. Her so-called friends insult her, isolate her, and project their insecurities onto her. The writers seem to frame Zoey as an outsider, painting her as someone who wouldn't possibly be attractive or desirable. This framing is damaging. The episode ends with Zoey apologizing for dating Noah, even though she had no way of knowing about his colorist preferences at the beginning.
He admitted he only dates white girls, and I told him I couldn't be around anyone like that. Especially when it hurts my friends. I'm sorry.
While her friends eventually apologize for their behavior, the damage to Zoey's self-esteem is already done. An episode on colorism is important. However, the Proud family, Louder and Prouder, mishandles the topic in so many ways. They shift the focus onto Zoey instead of Noah, villainizing her for something beyond her control and forcing her to carry the emotional weight of the conflict. They also downplay the harm caused by Zoey's friends and fail to educate the viewers on what colorism is and why it's problematic. The writers missed an opportunity to highlight the systemic nature of colorism and instead reduced it to interpersonal drama. By centering the story on Zoey's exclusion rather than Noah's behavior, the episode trivializes the issue and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. While this episode attempts to tackle a serious issue, it falls short in execution. Colorism is a complex and deeply ingrained issue that deserves thoughtful, accurate representation in media. This episode could have been a turning point for the Proud family, Louder and Prouder to address important social issues in a meaningful way. Instead, it left viewers with an unresolved narrative and a missed opportunity for growth. I would like to know what you think about this episode. Do you feel it addressed colorism effectively, or do you agree that it missed the mark? Comment your thoughts down below and subscribe for more content like this.